YouTube, how's it going? Frogs and Angels is back with another Top 100 weekly review. Every Tuesday, I recap the Top 100 that airs on NFL Network. Give my thoughts. Last few weeks, I haven't been too happy with the rankings, but this week's a little better. You know, I don't 100% agree with all these, but it's much better than the last few weeks. So we'll break each of the players down in a second here. But before we get into it, don't forget, go to our Twitter, frogs_angels, link in the description. We have plenty of NFL polls on there, so it's up to you guys to go vote. Best quarterback in the league, in your opinion, best running back. We're going to go through all the positions, and your vote will be reviewed, revealed, and talked about in upcoming position ranking videos. So more polls to come, a lot of polls on there. Links in the description, so go click on those. And our goal for our YouTube channel is 10K subscribers. If you already subscribed to the channel, we appreciate you very much. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, please do so. Our goal is 10K subscribers. So let's get into these players. Number 40 was Tyreek Hill, the wide receiver from the Chiefs. Kind of a player that came out of nowhere a few years ago. Do I think he's worthy of the 40th best player? I think it's maybe a little high. I mean, it's close enough where I'm okay with it because he definitely belongs on the list. Very important player for the Chiefs. Can play slot, can play outside. You know, you don't see a lot of receivers like that because of his speed. That's pretty much why he can play anywhere. Maybe the best returner in football. Maybe a little high. Just looking at the other receivers, because there's some other receivers behind him that you could argue are better, but that's a different debate. We'll break that down in receiver position rankings once we get there. So I'm okay overall with 40. Dominant player. You expect him to get even better. So we'll see. For this season, is 40 okay? I'm all right with it. 39 was Tyrone Smith, the Cowboys left tackle. You see, last year he was 18, this year 39 because some injuries moved him down. He's such an important player. I've talked about in a past video. He's such an important player for the Cowboys. I think he can be the best, not just left tackle, best offensive lineman in football if he's on the field 100% of the time, if he's 100% healthy. So 39 for not being on the field a lot last year is interesting, but going forward, I'm okay with it. For his talent, I'm okay with it. I mean, for his skill, for his talent, he could be more like 18. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess. But if on the field, like I said, very dominant player, very important player, big part of that Cowboys offense. On to 38, Jared Goff, the Rams quarterback. Excellent year last year, so I'm good with 38. Maybe a little high if we're talking in general, because I don't know about most of you guys, most of you fans out there, but I kind of want to see a little more. We know he's good. He had an excellent year, so 38 is good for this past year and going into this year. But I won't lock him in as having another good year like that. I mean, he honestly can get better, but I also can see, for some reason, it's just kind of in my head, you know, can't really tell you why, but for some reason I can see him struggle this year. You know, it's an offense built around him. If I had to put money on it, I don't think he'll struggle, but he's a guy that I can see. I mean, same as Carson Wentz. They came out the same year. So they're still young. I know Wentz is coming off his injury, so that's the reason I kind of can see that happening too. But Goff, what I'm trying to say is I need to see a little more of Goff. But excellent year, 38. He definitely deserves 38 from what he did last year. Can he do it again? Can he stay consistent? We will see. He's in a good system there. 37, Joey Bosa. Last year he was number 100 actually. 30, so big jump, 37. I'm good with 37. I think if we're talking top 100 next year, I think I'm expecting him much higher, much better ranked, maybe top 20, maybe top 15. But for now, 37, I'm good with it. But we expect the production to skyrocket, which would be very impressive. He's already been very impressive. But so bottom line is I think he'll be better ranked than 37 during the season and next year when we do these rankings. But for right now, I'm good with it. 36, Adam Thielen, the Vikings wide receiver. I'm overall good with 36. I'm actually really surprised that he was this high. We saw Diggs come off the board, and I'm like, Thielen's got to be around here somewhere, I guess, because I view them pretty equal. Thielen had a better year. So to see him at 36, I think he's worthy of it. I'm just a little surprised that players voted that. So yeah, definitely a technician guy, very good at route running, and that's kind of what today's NFL receiver is. You got to be able to run routes, you got to be able to get open, and if you catch the ball well, then you're a good receiver. So he's really got all of that, got the speed, doesn't really have the size for the jump balls, but doesn't really need it as it shows. So again, I was surprised by 36. Not to say he's not he didn't earn it, but he definitely earned 36. He definitely belongs in this range. But again, yeah, I was a little shocked. 35 is A.J. Bouye, the Jaguars corner. Another one I was kind of surprised on. I think I don't have a big problem with it, but I think it's pretty high, 35. I think maybe more of that 50, even back to, I would say about 50 range. I thought he's ahead of, there's other corners too that are ahead of the guys, but Xavier Rhodes and Casey Hayward, I think I would put ahead of Bouye. That's our discussion though. We'll have to look more into that, but excellent year for him. But paired with Jalen Ramsey, obviously Jalen Ramsey is going to be higher ranked. Just mainly, I'm not going to bash 35 too much. I think just maybe a little high, but it's mainly because the corners he's ahead of on the list. On to 34, DeMarcus Lawrence, the Cowboys pass rusher. Here's the thing with him. I think it's high, honestly. I wouldn't put him really. He's definitely on top of 100, but I wouldn't put him really that close to 34. I think to start the season last year, beginning first half of the season, was excellent. Was top of the league in sacks with Calais Campbell. Then it started the production started to die down a little bit. Still was towards the top of the league in sacks, but it's because it was the first half of the year. So we know he has it in him, but sometimes it happens with the pass rushers. So we don't really, he's a guy I need to see more of. Like, I know he's good, I know he can play, but to be 34, I need to see you do more what you did the first half of the season. So I think, honestly, I hate to say it, I think it's a little overrated here. I think we need to see more. I know, obviously, great season, top part of the league in sacks, production. But for me, 34 is getting close to that elite range because we're not talking about by position. We're talking about top 100 players, top 34 players. I think I can name 34 players that are better than him. So just from what they've shown me, obviously we know he can do it from the first half of the season, but we need to see more of that. You got to stay more consistent. We see pass rushers is like the number one position where we see that guys can. It's almost like baseball players. You see them just dominate, and then they get this big contract. Not that because he got the big contract, and they disappear out of nowhere. I think pass rushers, it can happen a lot. So that's the reason I would like to. Quarterbacks and pass rushers, I always want to see more. That's why you may hear me say that a lot for quarterbacks and pass rushers. That's just my take. 33, Kareem Hunt, running back for the Chiefs. Another one, maybe I'm surprised that he's this high, but I think he deserves to be this high. I think he's worthy of a 33rd overall player because he had the rushing title. He led the NFL in rushing yards. Just think about that. Nobody really says it enough. Nobody thinks about it enough. That is very hard to do. We're talking what running backs in the past led the league in rushing yards. They ain't just some random running back. So maybe a guy we need to see more of just because he only played 1 year, but we know he's legit. We know he's worth the 33rd overall player in the NFL because he led the league in rushing yards. Bottom line, Todd Gurley was so dominant, won the MVP. Kareem Hunt led the league in rushing yards. So, surprised he's 33 just because we've seen only 1 year of him. Didn't think people would vote him this high. But he, for sure, deserving. 32, Jadeveon Clowney, pass rusher from the Texans. Maybe one of the best run stoppers in football for his position. And then the pass rushing starting to develop more and more. Should take another step up. Went from 40. I think 49 was too high last year. I thought that was definitely too high. But this year I'm okay with 32. Maybe a little bit high, but I think another guy. It's kind of hard to see him ahead of Joey Bosa because I was just about to compare him, or same situation I should say. By this time next year, he could even be higher than 32. Even though I think it's just a tiny bit, little bit too high. 32. I think I'm expecting him to be top 30 next year for sure. So I thought 49 last year was too high. I thought it could have been 49 this year. I think Joey Bosa may be better, but Clowney brings maybe more to the table if he develops this year because Joey Bosa is more of a pass rusher. But Clowney's run defense is so dominant. But we can see what's more important. Everyone knows the pass rushing is more important. So Clowney can develop that where we think he can be, then I understand. So not at all saying he's overrated. I'm for the most part okay with them. Maybe just a little high for now. But again, by this time next year, I expect him maybe even top 20. So we will see. Exciting player to watch. Can't wait for really that Texans defense, the whole Texans team if it's healthy. Last player of this list, 31. It's Matthew Stafford. He was actually 31 last year. What are the chances of that? Now, honestly, I kind of have a problem with this one. I think this is way too high at 31. I think Good, obviously good quarterback. It's pretty obvious, but I think people really think very highly of him because since when or for what other player, what other quarterback does winning not matter? Because it's always about winning. I never really agree with it. People overrated winning. I mean, that it is what, at the end of the day, it is what matters. But I thought people would just look at, okay, who won this many Super Bowls, who won this many playoff games. That's it, no matter how they play on the field. But for some reason in this situation, that's not the case because, unfortunately, the Lions haven't really won much. Stafford hasn't really won anything. They've been playing pretty good football lately, making the playoffs, or pushing to make contending for the playoffs. And obviously a good quarterback, but not winning stuff. I think 31, people think very highly of him. So what if he did have more wins on his resume? He would be top 5, I guess, in their opinion. But I don't know. There's some quarterbacks that he's ahead of that I think he's pretty even with. Wouldn't say they're better than him. I'm not going to say that, but he's pretty close to even with. But he's way ahead of them. I think like numbers wise, he's pretty equal to some of the other quarterbacks that he's passed, and he hasn't really won more than these guys. So it's interesting. Very good quarterback, has it in him. I think he has pretty solid targets. Golden Tate, Marvin Jones. So we used to say he has nothing around him besides Calvin Johnson. The rest of the team was terrible. I agreed with that. But I don't know. He needs to win more, needs to show me more. Obviously a very good quarterback. I just think 31's a little high. Obviously a top 50 player. But yeah, it's surprising that he was 31 last year and 31 this year again. That's kind of weird. Same exact number. So that's interesting. I kind of want to know who votes. What players vote? How many of them vote? Do they really vote? I know there's been players out there like, I didn't vote. Who's voting? So there's actual NFL players that don't think players actually vote, and they gather them up and interview them after they make a list. So the top 100, it's interesting. Let me tell you, but it's fun. You know, we got something to break down, something to see. Everyone likes to see any type of rankings. So, but that'll do it for this one. We'll be back next week, and then every day, really, with daily uploads, NFL uploads. So yeah, position ranking starting soon. Make sure you go to our Twitter, vote for your best player, in your opinion, best player at each position. More will be added, a lot up there now. So your vote matters. Will be talked about on upcoming videos. If you're the player you would vote for isn't on there, please reply. Our goal is 10K subscribers, so please help us get there. That'd be much appreciated. That'll do it for this one. Goodbye.